sheet, lot of stake sale has happened and they've reduced the debt quite a lot. And now they are working on lot of big infra projects and again they are working on the profitability margins and all that. Now most of their companies are in much better shape. Of course, some allegations were there, now it is gone. So that is a positive thing. Even I agree with the other panelists, even for me also, I think Adani Port and Adani Power are the top picks because see the fundamental of the company. And again, the way they have their presence in the infra is something unique. Adani Port is the largest port, and no, we know that most of the export happens through seaports. So I think they are going to benefit, and they are working on the lot of expansion. Even Adani Power is now coming up, and for other companies also now as this thing is out now, I think investor and all the other investor FII or DI will look through the other lenses, because everything is there. So I think it's a big positive for Adani Group also and overall market also. And I think positive things are going to come for Adani Group.
Absolutely. So positive things coming up for the Adani Group. That's what our experts are also suggesting. And just a quick disclaimer for our viewers that NDTV is a subsidiary of AMG Media Networks, which is an Adani Group company, and the channel you're currently watching. With that, let's move on with the show and let's cater to Harsha's query, who hails from Bengaluru. She holds 25 shares of L&T. She purchased at 3,585 a share. And so she hasn't mentioned the time horizon. So firstly, I'd like to come to you, Tapan, on the fundamentals of it. So L&T is the counter. How are you viewing it fundamentally?
See, frankly, L&T is always a safe bet. No, it's like L&T is equal to economy. If economy progress, L&T normally progress. And you see their order inflow is quite good. Even the last quarter, the result, you see a big order inflow was there. And in future, I think in Middle East, they are having a very good presence and they are going to grow it because Middle East is actually doing a lot of infrastructure and where L&T is coming in the picture. Of course, the EBITDA margin was fallen last time, but they are working on it. And at the end of the day, order inflow is, if you see currently, it is around 94,000 crore rupees. And revenue also, it is having a double-digit growth. I think overall, if you see though, they are going to prioritize, much more at the infra level, and I think export, at least outside India, they are going to focus a lot because there the margin is much more. So if you have L&T in your kitty, I think one should stay for the long term. I think from here also it will give a good return.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And viewers, we are awaiting your calls. So just pick up your phones and call us right away. The numbers are there on the top of the band. And just call us, and we're waiting for your calls. And our experts are there to help you out with your stock-related queries. With that, let's move ahead with another WhatsApp query, which is written to us by Ram Chandra. He hails from Hyderabad, and he's holding 10,000 shares of Suzlon Energy. He bought it at 5,705 and 50. So he's looking for a long-term view on the counter. Suzlon Energy is the counter, Tapan. Look, fundamentally, how strong is the counter, and what are your key takeaways?
So if you see the renewable sector now, I think wind energy is much more better placed than solar energy. The reason is solar, there are too many suppliers. And in wind, you know that Inox and Suzlon are the key, and Suzlon is number one. And again, the projects they have, and again, the order book is massive. Overall, they have already order book of next 3 years. And no, they are actually having almost 60, they are planning for almost 60% growth year on year for financial year 26 only. If you talk the margin, they are targeting around 23% contribution margin, which is very good. Of course, they are giving an end-to-end solution, and almost 5.7 gigawatt order book is there. Now, EBITDA, I think overall it is going to increase because they are working on their operational metrics a lot, and from 19.2, I think it may go up a lot from here. So if you see the most of the order book are from the PSU, which gives us a good visibility. Of course, last time the result was not so great, that's why it was fallen. But I think from here the valuation looks commanding. I think one can think about it, and if you can buy at this level, even at a deep level, I think one should go for it. I think at a long-term level, I think in wind energy, in that also Suzlon will be a big beneficiary.
Okay, Suzlon will be a big beneficiary there. And on the technicals, I'd like to come to you, Gaurav. Suzlon, it's a pretty volatile stock. So what sort of suggestion do you have for somebody who wants to invest in it for a shorter period of time?
Even I am also, having a similar view with Tapan. Charts are also suggesting that the stock is in good hands, and it has also corrected from 75 odd levels to currently trading around 59. So I think it is in a sweet spot. One can consider, taking a long position in the stock. Just take a stop at 49, hold the position for the near-term target of 75, from where it has actually corrected. And this things can be expected in the next couple of months.
Thank you so much for that, Gaurav. Now, let's quickly go across to our first caller on the show, Sanjay, who's joining us on the phone line from Chennai. Hi, Sanjay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, how can I help you
I'm
today?
holding 21 shares of Hyundai Motors at the average rate of 1950.
Okay.
I am ready to wait for 5 years.
All right.
Is it any possible to cross 5 digit like Maruti?
Okay. So, okay, Tapan, well, you've heard the query there. So, do you see Hyundai Motors, becoming that multi-bagger stock in the near future, let's say for a longer period of 2 to 3 years?
See, Hyundai Motors last numbers, no monthly numbers were okay, not so great as such, but hopefully this festival season because of GST rate cut, it will go up. But yes, if you talk about Hyundai, somewhat the performance is laggard compared to M&M, and even now Maruti is quite catching up. Even today, Maruti has reduced their prices also. But Hyundai overall, no, they are working a lot, and mostly they on the EV models by 2030 they are going to launch lot many EV models, and export they are no actually they are pushing. Of course, no, they are going to bring much more SUV in premium segment to give a good competition to M&M, and Tata Motors is also, if you see EV, they are ahead. So, but if you ask me, from financial point of view or fundamental point of view, they have a good growth, no doubt about it, but and margins are also okay. But still, I feel M&M has a better, no edge against the Hyundai. So, if you ask me for next 5 years, I go for M&M compared to Hyundai. I think still from here also M&M may give them a better growth, and I think the even the stock price also may go up better. So I think M&M will be the choice. Second will be Maruti, and third will be Hyundai.
Okay. So M&M is first, then Maruti, and then Hyundai is what our experts are suggesting. But Gaurav, coming to you, rightly pointed out, like after the GST rate cuts have been announced, so this rally that we are witnessing, so is it like a seasonal rally, and investors can really make benefit of it in the shorter term?
I think the move has already been discounted for. We have seen most of the better auto players performing exceptionally well in the past 1.5 month. Auto sector completely was at the limelight, and it has given tremendous gains itself. When we specifically talk about Hyundai for that matter, it is also trading at all-time highs, and in the recent past, in the August month itself, we just take past 1 month performances, 14th August till date, the stock has rallied from 2100 to 2700 odd levels. This has already been factored in. I do not see this kind of a momentum continuing in this stock. Now, from a specifically, month-on-month sales figures are concerned, M&M is one stock that has continuously been, impressed with the street, and that is why we have seen such stellar price increase in its stock price. I do agree with Tapan that M&M should be the first choice, and if looking at a 5 years, such a long perspective, I think a lot of things changing. But as of now, M&M is the first choice.
Okay, so M&M is the first choice, both fundamentally and as well as technically. With that, we have another caller joining us from Hyderabad. Hi, Bhaskar. Good evening.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, how can I help you today?
Yeah, I'm holding 150 shares of Sirma SGS
Okay.
at price 820.
Okay.
So I want to know the technical and fundamental. For long term, I'm holding.
Understood. So firstly, coming to you, Tapan, when I look at the valuation, it seems pretty stretched. But still, overall, fundamentally, are you optimistic on the counter?
See, the overall EMS sector, overall the valuation is stretched. If you take Dixon, Sirma, or Amber Enterprise, all their valuation is quite stretched. But there's a growth there in that sector, almost you can say more than 30%. more than 30% growth will be there in overall the sector. And here also the management told for Sigma also that they are going to grow by almost 30 to 35%. Their focus will be on much more on the auto and industrial verticals, and they are going to maintain around EBITDA margin of 9%, which is quite good. Honestly, in EMS sector, no, the margins are little bit on a lower side. Of course, overall, if you see the product mix, no, they are going to go on the premium side much more, and cost control and operational efficiency they are going to bring. That will help EBITDA margin to go up little bit more. But looking at the EMS sector and the growth, I think this stock you are not going to get at a lower level much more. But yes, what I think that of course it has gone up a lot, so you can keep a buy on dip strategy on this. But overall, I am quite positive in this stock and sector also. But yes, I'll go for buy on this for the sim.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And a lot of callers are there in the pipeline. So quickly, we'll go across to them. Firstly, let's go across to Kamath, who's joining us on the phone line from Bengaluru. Hi, Kamath. Good evening.
Good evening, madam. Madam, my query is regarding power grid.
Yeah.
I'm holding 1,500 quantity at the rate of 285 rupees.
Understood.
So I wanted to know the short-term view, madam.
Okay. And for how long are you planning to hold it?
Maybe another 6 months, madam.
Another 6 months. All right. So 6 months view on Power Grid Corporation. Gaurav, I directly come to you. So since I can, if I look at the charts, it's pretty flattish, but still, what's your opinion from a 6 months perspective?
Trading flat and sideways was probably the nature of Power Grid, RAC and PFC in the past. But of late, they have showcased tremendous amount of strength and good amount of recovery. In a time frame of 6 months, I see this stock heading towards 310, 320 odd levels. So I suggest Mr. Kamath to hold on his position. If he wishes to take a stop loss, then maintain it at 275, a closing stop at 275, and look for targets close to 300, 320.
Understood. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for that. Now we have Colonel Das Gupta joining us on the phone line from New Delhi. Hi, Mr. Das Gupta. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. First of all, I appreciate NDTV Profit and your esteemed panel giving us such insightful decisions on what stocks to buy and what to do.
It's our pleasure,
thanks
Mr.
for
Gupta.
that. Yeah, ma'am, I have a query. I hold 440 shares of Indian Oil.
Okay.
Bought at an average price of 100.
Right.
I am willing to hold it for a long term, say 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So my query is, what is the future prospect of Indian Oil? What is the correct stage again to re-enter? And with Indian Oil entering and foraying into your renewables and green energy, what are the prospects like in this segment, in this niche segment of green energy and green hydrogen?
Absolutely.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Thank you so much. We've got your query. Tapan, I'd pose this question to you directly. Indian Oil is the counter, and you heard Mr. Das Gupta there. So how are you viewing it from a fundamental standpoint?
See, fundamentally, Indian Oil is in a good position. If you see, they are going to have a refinery expansion, Gujarat refinery expansion by mid-26. Again, as Sir told, green fuel, they are going to ramp up a lot. Of course, they are going to focus on hydrogen and biofuel facilities also. So basically, they are going to focus on blending and downstream integration. And currently, the situation at oil prices level is such that which is beneficial to Indian Oil. Gross refinery margin, of course, it has fallen year on year, but I think things will be settling down over the time. Of course, if you see, they have to work on their cost control and operating expenses because last time that was an issue. But because of high demand on fuel, domestic and structure policies are there, I think this counter will be beneficiary. But as an investor, this may give you a steady return, not an extraordinary return. But yes, at a dividend point of view and also the recent expansion mode, I think for a decent return, I think Indian Oil, he can hold it a little bit for a medium term to long term.
Okay, so you can expect steady returns from counter like Indian Oil. But, Gaurav, I'd also like to come to you talking about, he also mentioned that he wants to accumulate more and currently it's trading at 147. So do you suggest that these are the correct levels for somebody who wants to accumulate more at this point of time?
Yes, he can add more. Prospects are bright. The stock is looking upbeat. It has consolidated and now it is time to perform. So he can buy some quantity here and add at a rise close to 156, 170, 157, which will act as a breakout for this stock. And the next level would be close to 180. These are the levels that can be seen in the next 6 months itself.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Now we have Avdesh Ojha joining us on the phone line from Delhi. Hi, Avdesh. Good evening.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Yes.
Firstly, ma'am, I am very sad from the AMG Media Network because they have cut half an hour of my favorite show.
I'm
Okay,
really.
ma'am. I have built a strong portfolio with help of this show, and currently generating a 17% return from your advice.
Oh my God, that's
Yes,
very humbling, Mr. Avdesh. Thank you so much for that support that you guys are showing us. And yes, Mr. Avdesh, please go ahead with your query.
Yes, ma'am. My query is on Chola Finance.
Yeah.
And I have bought 25 shares, bought at 1530.
Yes.
I want to know, ma'am, long-term view and short-term view.
Okay, understood. So, firstly, Tapan, I'd like to come to you. Chola Mandalam Financial Holdings is the counter, and he wishes to invest in it for a longer period of time. So, is it advisable for him to do that?
See, currently NBFC are in a much more better position, and Cholamangala have a diversified portfolio, where if you see their insurance profit margins are also strengthening, and again they are going to focus much more on the home loan. Of course, asset quality they are going to tighten a lot from here because there was a problem earlier on the NPA point of view, but from the insurance point of view, they are going to work on the underwriting discipline, and from here they are what management told they are working on the digital channels. Okay, so from here, I think that there will be a steady growing of AUM from here, and disbursement is steady. Vehicle finance will be picking up in this Diwali season because of automobiles will be doing well. So I think vehicle finance will be one of a trigger for this company from going onwards here for next few quarters. At this level, I think the stock may do well from here because still I think 1 or 2 quarters I think NBFC may do better because interest rate cut may happen, and again the domestic consumption will go up, discretionary consumption. So I think Cholamangalam will be beneficial. So yes, at this level one should hold it for a little bit of 1 or 2 years at least.
Okay. Thank you so much for that view, Tapan. Now we are being joined by Mr. Deshpande from Aurangabad on the phone line. Hi, Mr. Deshpande. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes. Please go ahead with the query.
Ma'am, I have a query about Cyient, Cyient.
Yes.
I am holding 91 shares brought at the rate of 1560 6 months back.
Okay.
I don't want technical view. I want fundamental view. I can hold them for two years, 3 years.
Okay.
Time.
Understood. So Cyient is the counter, Tapan, and Deshpande is sitting on a loss of nearly 29,000 is what I can see right now. So considering all these aspects in mind, and also if we look at the valuations, so it seems pretty decent, but still, how are you viewing Cyient?
This Cyient performance was not good from last few quarters, and now overall, IT also was struggling a lot. And now, if you see now, their management is saying they are going to focus on AI verticals and all that. But the problem is, the revenue and the profitability is not there, based on the valuation. Again, if you see, they are going to bring more, 14 new logos across the industry, and they are going to work on the EPAC wireless infrastructure and all that. But still, I am not able to see the margin expansion and now the revenue which was always thought about the Cyient. Of course, it has fallen a lot, but still I feel from here also it will be a tough road for Cyient. So I think if he can move to other sectors, which are doing quite well, like auto install is still not gone up, or this consumption and all that, I think that may give him a better return compared to Cyient. So I am not too much positive on Cyient from here.
Okay, all right. And since there's the slew of callers there right now, so I'm going to take 2 callers one by one. Firstly, I'd come to you, Vishwas, on the phone line. He is joining us from Mysuru. Hi, Vishwas. Good evening.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, quickly go ahead with your query.
Ma'am, KPIT Technology, 500 quantity in average price 1,308 profit in 39 profit loss, ma'am. Seller road, ma'am. Please technical analysis, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Understood. You got your query, KPIT Tech, and a short-term outlook on it. Secondly, we are being joined by Guru on the phone line from Bengaluru. Hi, Guru. Good evening. Guru, are you there on the phone line with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead with the query quickly.
Yeah, I have 600 quantity of Swaraj engine.
Okay.
It's been more than 3 months. It's consolidating. Should I wait or exit? I want to move to BSC actually.
Okay, so are you looking for a short-term view on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Swaraj?
Swaraj engines.
Swaraj engines. All right. So there are two counters. Firstly, coming to you, Tapan, very quickly. KPIT Tech and Swaraj engines. What's your outlook?
See, of course, for KPIT, I think still struggles going on, and still the valuation is on a higher side. But yes, the management committee was positive, and of course, AI platforms they are working. And the mid-cap companies are better than the large cap comparatively. So the discipline is there, the margin stability hopefully should be coming, and slowly and gradually the profitability is going up hopefully from here onwards. But still, I feel 1 quarter he should wait. Otherwise, he should move out from this KPIT. The reason is simple that still the growth is not matching with the valuation. So I want him to wait for 1 quarter. This quarter you see the result. Then if needed you can get out and go to some other sector or stock. And talking about Swaraj Engineering, if you see that sales growth is at a double-digit level, and of course, if you see they have much more per unit realization is much more better.
Yes,
of course,
yes.
volume has gone up. So I think even the Swaraj, I think one should stay. I think for a short term and long term, I think here I can see a little bit upside.
Okay. So that's a hold on both KPIT Tech and Swaraj engines. And also, Gaurav, very quickly, just one word answer, whether it's a buy for KPIT and Swaraj engines or not.
A hold for both of them.
Okay, so that's a hold for both of them. And with that, I'm afraid that we are running short of time, as you might have noticed. But thank you so much, Tapan and Gaurav, for being there with us and, always positively answering all our viewers' query. And with that, viewers, it's a wrap on this edition of Ask Profit. But before I bid you goodbye, I just want to request you that, you can continue sending us your queries on WhatsApp and call us in the morning edition of Ask Profit. Thank you so much.
We're the only country with such a large population of youth and yuva.
Pure talent और कुछ नहीं है.
बुलाने वाला फ्यूचर काफी अच्छा है स्पोर्ट्स का.
Luck, patience and a lot of tolerance.
Life can change overnight.
जीवन में मैंने कोशिश की है सदैव चुनौती को अपनाने.
We need to work towards an egalitarian society, regardless of gender and orientation.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है.
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं. उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
SEBI gives Adani Group a clean chit in the Hindenburg case, says it found no merit in the allegations against the entities. Online gaming ban to kick in starting the 1st of October, so says the IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. He also says that the government has had multiple discussions with online gaming companies and stakeholders after passing that law. In the Indian markets, we've seen the Nifty and the Sensex end higher for the third consecutive day to settle at over 2-month high. Sectoral indices have closed mixed. IT index has gained on the back of 25 basis point rate cut by the US Fed. The chief economic advisor, Ananta Nageshwaran, says that he is optimistic that the United States will withdraw the 25% penal tariffs imposed on India, and this after the 30th of November. He believes there will be a resolution on both the reciprocal and the penal tariff in the next 2 months. Now, Maruti Suzuki announces price cuts, the steepest drop seen in entry-level cars like the Espresso and Alto K10. Maruti has cut prices of the Swift by more than 80,000 rupees, while the Baleno is getting cheaper by 86,100 rupees. Payments apps like PhonePe and Cred are turning off rent payments through credit cards following the RBI norms that direct payment aggregators to conduct Know Your Customer processes on a landlord's bank account before allowing credit card payments to it. Apollo Tyres is here to stay for a very, very long time, so says the vice chairman of the company, Neeraj Kanbar, as he dismisses concerns over the jersey jinx. He expects the company's sponsorship deal with BCCI to enhance brand trust and visibility. Doctors in Maharashtra have gone on a day-long protest after the state government has allowed homeopathy graduates with a short course in modern pharmacology to register with the Maharashtra Medical Council. Good evening. Welcome to Profit 360 here on NDTV Profit. I'm Vikram Oza. Through the next half hour, we're getting you the biggest news on the markets as well as the national and international news. Of course, the top story this evening is about the SEBI final report on the Hindenburg case against the Adani Group. Well, now SEBI has exonerated and found no liability on Adani Ports, on Adani Power, on Adani Enterprises, all entities. So the market regulator clearing the Adani Group entities of all allegations in the Hindenburg case. That probe has found that all the loans that were repaid with interest, there was no diversion at all. It's a fairly detailed report, and we've been poring over the details. Let's get the highlights from my colleague Charu Singh. She's joining us here in Mumbai. Charu, if you can walk us through the final report and what are the main points that the report, this final report by SEBI, is making in the Hindenburg case?
So in the year 2023, the short seller Hindenburg came out with its own report saying that the Adani Group companies had been using some third unrelated parties to conduit some illegal transactions or related party transactions. They said that these are against the listing norms of Securities and Exchange Board of India. They also alleged market manipulation, unfair trade practices, and other violations related to related party transactions. However, SEBI observed that there was no basis or no, enough evidence or substance to say that yes, there was market manipulation. They did not impose any penalty, did not say that any of the allegations were substantiated, and did not find any violations related to market manipulation or related party transactions. In fact, Gautam Adani himself has, come out to public on his social media account saying that SEBI has just, in a very transparent manner come out with an order that says exactly what the group has been saying since the Hindenburg report was launched, which is that, no market manipulation was done on part of the group, and he feels for the losses faced by the investors when the report was released. Now, this is not the first time that in the Adani Hindenburg saga, a regulator has come in support of the Adani Group. Before this, the Supreme Court also had said that there is no issue with the SIT that was committed to look into the Hindenburg issue when, several people had come to the Supreme Court alleging, violations or, misconduct on the committee that was formed by the Supreme Court. Now, this was during the time of CJI Chandrachud. But keeping that aside, now the market regulator of the country has given a clean sheet of sorts to the Adani Group, Gautam Adani and other parties that were implicated in this case.
So that really puts in context for us why this case happened, and now we have a final report from SEBI as well. Charu, thanks very much for that. We got in a slew of opinions as soon as the news broke. We spoke to a lot of legal experts. We got in market perspective as well. In fact, all of them believe this is an excellent development, a great boost for Adani for sure. They are also emphasizing that this verdict sends out a clear message to global markets that India is the destination to invest. Listen in to what we got from them.
After a very, very thorough scrutiny, SEBI has now come to a finality on this. And so therefore, it does send positive signals to the world market, to the investors, that look, India is a place where governance is not an issue, where the scrutiny is not an issue. Everything is scrutinized to the last possible dot. And if at all there are any issues, those issues are to be resolved. So therefore, yes, it sends positive signal, and to my mind, it's an excellent development which has happened, giving to the investors that India is a place where you need to invest.
This report, of course, we're still going through the specifics of it, but this will have massive, massive ramifications when it comes to all of the entire bouquet of Adani stocks. And I think this is the ultimate imprimatur of legitimacy that any corporation can hope to get. After all, SEBI is the premier organization to determine issues of corporate governance, and to also determine if there was any weight or any meat in the allegations that the Hindenburg group had been sort of peddling for as long as they had been doing it. Now, after the Supreme Court's investigative committee, which also gave a clean sheet, as you remember, it was headed by a former Supreme Court judge of unimpeachable integrity. And now, as you rightly point out, there's been an elongated investigation, a very thorough investigation that SEBI has conducted. I think it only speaks to the credibility of SEBI as the premier agency to determine matters concerning securities and securities violations. And I think, if anything, this should give greater and greater confidence to both Indian and foreign investors. And I do sincerely hope that Indian investigating agencies will also try and get to the bottom of who those actors were, both within India and abroad, who were trying to destabilize the Adani group and via them, the Indian economy.
SEBI being the market regulator, SEBI being the domain regulator, it is a great shot in the arm for the Adani group to get this detailed exoneration from SEBI, because to my mind, that's really within the jurisdiction of India. It's the last word on the subject. And therefore, I think it's a happy day for the Adani group. They should be rather satisfied with what they've got. Look, SEBI is a body which is regulated by detailed rules and regulations. There's a statute in place. And therefore, always keep one thing in mind. Always keep one thing in mind, that when SEBI looks into these issues, it's working within the corners of the law. And therefore, you have now a finding which I believe, and I've not seen the report yet, would be within the corners of that regulatory framework, which shows that our system does work.
Right, so those are the perspectives that we got today. And of course, the news broke out just earlier this evening. We were speaking to a slew of experts, both from the legal field and the markets field as well. As far as the opportunities opening up, as far as Adani Group is concerned, and for the Indian markets in general, we've seen a recent exodus of foreign investors. Now, whether this is going to reinstill faith in the Indian markets, in their resilience, and the due processes that are followed to look into and probe into cases and allegations that are made like this, is going to perhaps return, is the larger view that we are getting as well. And of course, as far as more legal perspective is concerned, for that, Mr. Mahesh Jethmalani, senior advocate and former member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha, joining us on the show as well. Mr. Jethmalani, it's always a pleasure having you with us. Now, this Hindenburg case, Hindenburg was claiming it was exposing India's largest corporate fraud. Now that we have a final report from SEBI, Mr. Jethmalani, does the Adani Group become conclusively exonerated, in your opinion, thanks to this report?
Yeah, conclusively vindicated, no question about it. The Supreme Court had only left one outstanding investigation, which SEBI said they were still investigating, and that was whether there were any related third-party transactions. You remember that people said that, companies of the Adani Group had been funded through conduit companies, and they were related party transactions. That's been definitively now laid to rest. So the Adanis stand completely vindicated. There's no stain on them whatsoever. And on the other hand, the shoe is on the other foot, because I think Hindenburg and those who brokered this entire transaction need to be examined.
But critics are saying that SEBI has taken perhaps a very long time seeking multiple extensions. Do you believe the regulator has demonstrated due diligence in this case, in the way this process has been conducted, this entire probe?
Well, I don't think it's taken a long time, because, you had to unravel many third-party transactions and see if they were really related parties. Then you had to apply the law. Ultimately, the question was that these related party transactions did not apply to them, because the definition of related party transactions was widened in post-2021, and these transactions preceded it and couldn't be applied retrospectively. So, if matters are done, if matters are disposed of speedily, there is going to be criticism, as you saw in the Vantara case today. If matters are not, matters take a long time, they are also criticized. So I think you should leave, unless you find that the reasoning that is given by the concerned authority, in this case the regulatory authority being SEBI, if you find that reasons are unsound and completely untenable, then perhaps one can voice criticism. But when you say that it took too long or it took too short, I don't think that's an answer to the main allegations against any group.
And now that there has been no liability that has been found on Gautam Adani and Rajesh Adani and Jogeshinder Singh individually, I'm wondering if this effectively shuts the door on any further legal challenges they may have in India.
Well, the vested interests in this country always find something to bandy about, either for publicity or for blackmail or for short selling, right? So you can never put it up. That's part of being an open market economy. But the remedy is to go after those who make the false allegations. There's been a lot of investor loss in this company. There's an attempt to undermine our stock markets. This wasn't just an Adani hit. Indirectly, it was an attack both on investors and the stock market generally, and therefore the health of the Indian economy. That was the whole game, and that's pernicious, and that should be investigated.
So how should it be investigated, Mr. Jethmalani? Because I'm just wondering how this ruling is going to play into the narrative, that narrative of India versus foreign forces. It was strongly pitched after the report. So tell us exactly how you think that entire narrative is placed after this final report has come out.
I think foreign forces were utilized, right? Because the hit came from abroad. Hindenburg is no more than a short seller. And basically, he's a research analyst. Before this entire short sale took place and this attack on Adani took place, the whole focus was on Hindenburg's great reputation. As things turn out, they're only a research analyst on certain select companies. They don't have a great record. So there was a hype about Hindenburg. They were, almost saying that Hindenburg was the high priest of stock market analyses and so on and so forth. It wasn't. There were people behind them. Right, you found out that there was a U.S. investor with a very dubious wife running a fund. So most of it came from that. Then the broker belonged to was the broking wing of a well-known bank in this country, right? So it's not also all entirely foreign, right? Part of it may have been, right? I don't know whether the brokers knew who the ultimate short sellers were, but Hindenburg was a puffed up entity, which really only did some research analysis, and most of the research analysis was found in certain questions raised in Parliament. Right? They actually plagiarized a lot from what was already in the public domain and which was never taken seriously.
Since it was in the public domain, Mr. Jethmalani, Hindenburg, of course, has consistently stood by its report. They have maintained that. What message now does this clean chit from SEBI send to global investors and to short sellers as well about the Indian markets, about the processes that we follow legally as well?
Well, that the Indian markets are resilient, that the regulatory agencies do a very good job, and India has a big enough economy to withstand any such misadventures.
So do you see this ruling as a vindication of our regulatory robustness as well? Because ammunition for those who argue that regulators protect certain corporates and all of that, has that been put to rest?
I hope so. I mean, let's see what the reaction is, right? If it's not a hysterical reaction, right? If it's not a concerted hysterical reaction and it's reasoned, right? It may not be laid to rest. But according to me, this episode has finally been laid to rest. It has now been conclusively established, both on facts and law, that there were no related party transactions, and that's the end of the matter, right? If anybody can find fault with SEBI's order, so be it.
So these opposition parties, as far as SEBI is concerned, this order could blunt their criticism. Do you believe that? Because this perception battle is still something that is going to be in play, isn't it?
You're putting it mildly. Why are you saying blunt their criticism? It's demolished their whole organized bogus campaign.
And yet you're saying that this order can be challenged in the Supreme Court, given that the court itself had sought an investigation into these allegations.
No. My could is a logical possibility. Yes. Any adventurer can go to the Supreme Court.
Are you expecting it?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with the order. So I don't expect it. But there could be, there are always some people who are gunning for one corporate against another, over vested interest, or destabilize the economy, ruin a particular area, or just to extort money.
Right. So going ahead from here, from a lawmaker's perspective, do you think India now needs stronger statutory checks on short seller reports that have the power to disrupt markets the way they did in this particular case, like Hindenburg report did?
Yeah, I think there need to be. I'm not saying that if there's, if a stock is justifiably overvalued, there shouldn't be short selling. But this was a concerted attempt to rock a particular corporate entity without realizing the consequences, that you were really actually, hitting a lot of poor investors. Right? And for the sake of those poor investors, the root cause, the motives, the root cause, and all those who are involved, right? All those, right? And it's not just foreign